Forgotten World War II, boot hack that stops frostbite fast. The survival trick modern gear can't beat. Some survival tricks don't fade with time. They get sharper, colder, meaner. And this one might be the most underestimated piece of frost-fighting genius ever born in the chaos of World War II. A simple hack, quiet, improvised, almost embarrassingly low-tech, became the difference between marching another mile or losing your feet to the frozen dark. Soldiers didn't whisper about it because it was secret. They whispered because it worked. And today, in an age drowning in high-tech gear, this forgotten method still outperforms unprepared hikers, campers, and cold-weather thrill-seekers who think insulation alone is enough. Let's break this down the way history's survival code does it. Clear, gritty, and instantly useful. The hack sounds almost too simple, too primitive, too everyday, but that's the beauty of it. If moisture is the killer, then stop the moisture before it reaches the colder layers of your gear. World War II soldiers realized that sweat, not snow, was destroying their feet, so they began layering inside their boots with anything they could find. Paper, straw, extra cloth, not for padding, not for comfort, but as sacrificial layers designed to absorb the sweat so the insulation stayed dry. Soviet soldiers often lined their boots with newspaper they replaced daily. German troops stuffed dry straw inside, felt liners to create tiny air pockets that trapped heat and kept the wool from getting soaked. Canadian forces fighting in Europe were issued removable felt boot liners, allowing them to dry everything by the fire each night. It wasn't the material that mattered, it was the system. Moisture-wicking inner layer, absorbent liner, dry insulating layer, breathable or removable outer boot. That improvised discovery would eventually evolve into what we now call the vapor barrier system, used in modern Arctic expeditions and high-end military cold weather gear. But back then it was just survival, raw, gritty, and necessary. Why this hack still beats modern gear? Most people assume that high-tech insulation solves everything, but, the cold laughs at assumptions. The truth is simple. Even the best insulated boots in the world fail if your socks get wet. Once your feet sweat, and they will, freezing temperatures weaponize that moisture against you. The World War II bootliner trick prevents this by controlling the one variable modern gear often forgets: moisture management. Today's vapor barrier socks, removable liners, and double-layered boot systems are basically the descendants of this wartime hack. The science hasn't changed, only the materials have. The principle remains brutal and elegant. Keep the insulation dry, keep the blood flowing, keep your feet alive. Here's where this becomes more than history. This becomes survival code. If you're hiking, hunting, camping, or facing serious cold, this trick still works better than most modern miracle gear. Start with a thin inner sock made of silk or synthetic material, something that keeps sweat off the skin. Add a disposable liner layer. Newspaper works, paper towels do too. Even dry grass sealed between cloth layers can pull moisture away. Then place a thicker wool or thermal sock over it. That's your heat trap. That's your fortress. And if your boots have removable liners, dry them every night. No shortcuts, no excuses. Finnish troops, who endured some of the most vicious winters in modern history, learned to carry 2 sets of liners and switch them halfway through the day. That wasn't convenience. That was survival discipline. Staying warm wasn't just physical. It became psychological armor. Warm feet mean clear thinking. Clear thinking means fewer mistakes, and fewer mistakes in extreme cold means staying alive. Why this lesson still matters? This isn't nostalgia. This is real functional knowledge from men who fought and survived in conditions most people today would collapse under. They didn't have Gore-Tex. They didn't have Thinsulate. They didn't have modern polymers or smart fabrics. They had resourcefulness, they had understanding, they had a relationship with the cold that was personal and deadly. The bootliner method shows what real survival is about. Not gear, not gadgets. Knowledge. Knowledge used fast. Knowledge used under pressure. Knowledge used when the environment is trying to erase you. You know, this trick became a real turning point in military survival doctrine. Armies started to realize that insulation alone just wasn't enough. Moisture control and airflow, those were the real battlegrounds. That shift, well, it led to the cold weather systems we rely on today. But if you strip away all the technology, the principle is exactly the same as it was back in 1942. Dry feet, warm feet, living feet. The cold has no mercy, but it sure does reward preparation. The World War II bootliner hack wasn't glamorous, and it certainly wasn't advanced, but it worked, and it saved lives in some of the coldest, darkest chapters of the war. For modern survivalists, explorers, and, well, anyone who refuses to underestimate nature, this lesson is pure gold. Cold doesn't care about your gear. Cold doesn't care about your pride. But, you know, it will always reward those who prepare smarter than the environment can attack. If you want more powerful, forgotten survival strategies like this, make sure you subscribe to History's Survival Code and share this video with someone who respects real history, because these are the lessons worth keeping.